Hi there. I wanted to do a part 2 to Condolence Etiquette. I've had so much response to part 1. So I thought after hearing from you that I would do a part 2. Other people telling me their experience when they had a loved one pass away and some of the do's and don'ts that they walked through. So this is mainly from other people and their experience. I had so much response to this video and an overwhelming positive response. However, I did have a few people that didn't like it and stated why they didn't like it. But I did preface my video with our experience is completely different. I know because my dad was a figure. He was known all over the world. So of course our experience is different. And I prefaced that. In fact, I ended my video with saying that I know our story is different, but I thought that some of these could help when you might be going through this. If someone has passed away, maybe how you could respond, because it sure did teach me and help me. And there's a few I'm going to mention here that some friends brought up on my social media, and I thought, you know, I've done that. I've been guilty of that too. So these were just done in love. This was totally done in love, not to act like I'm better than anyone or not grateful for the people reaching out. We were so grateful, and just like I said in the first video, just the outpouring of love was so precious, and I know people mean well, and I know that. Before we get started on some more tips that I've learned, I wanted to show I'm wearing another one of my dad's shirts. We both love Corvettes. Well, he actually got me started loving Corvettes, but I found this one in his closet too. It's got his name, Jerry J. Savelle, on it, and thought I would wear it. Most of these today I want to talk about are from you, from the viewers, from people that watched part 1 and had their comments. Someone said that you should give your phone to someone else or turn it off. They also said that maybe you should have a point person or a pre-recorded message to, you know, designate someone to answer questions. So for me, I couldn't have turned my phone off. People said you should have turned your phone off. I couldn't turn my phone off. I was dealing with the coroner's office. I was dealing with the funeral home. I was dealing with coordinating getting my daddy's body back to Texas. I was dealing with his office and situations there. So there wasn't an option for me to turn off my phone or my sister or my mom. So that wouldn't have worked for us. A pre-recorded message, I don't know how that works, but these are just ideas that people gave. A point person or a contact person. There are people that said that they had no one reach out, you know, that I should be grateful for people reaching out, and I was so grateful. And I get the not reaching out part. I get there because I'm surprised there's some people that I still haven't heard from. It'll be 7 weeks tomorrow at the time of this recording that my dad passed, and there are some people I haven't heard from at all. I talked to someone on the phone just yesterday who I haven't spoke to at all since the passing of my dad, and they never even mentioned it. They never even said a word about it. And you know, it was kind of, but I have to realize that people, this is, you know, they've moved on. Like this was, yeah, it's devastating and shocking when you first hear about a loved one, someone else's loved one passing on, but then life goes on for other people. It's not affected them like it has you. I mean, he's my dad. That's a whole different, you know, level. So anyways, I get it when people forget to mention or forget to say it. So be mindful. Be that person that when it does happen and you do talk to someone, that you do say, I'm sorry to hear about, you know, the passing of your loved one. Make sure that you're thoughtful and remember to bring that up. I know oftentimes we just don't know what to say. And I used to be that person. I didn't know how to approach it when I'd heard someone had a family member pass away. But honestly, like I said before, I think less is more. And I think if you send just a text that says, love you, thinking of you, praying for you, that meant so much to me. And I think that's a great way to just reach out, let the person know that you're thinking about them and praying for them. Another thing is I receive so many cards, and I think that is so thoughtful. For me, the thought that someone took the time to go to the store, pick out a card, purchase that, write in it, mail it off, that meant a lot to me. So I think a card is just a beautiful sentiment to send, and it lets the person know that you're thinking of them. This was a really good one. And I've been guilty of this too, and it made me think about it, is when someone says or mentions, we're here for you, if you need anything, let us know. Well, oftentimes, I've said that to people, I'm here if you need anything. But oftentimes, we're not gonna take them up on that offer. We're not gonna be like, oh yeah, can you do this? Or can you help me with this? So the person that said that said, show up, like be there, be present. Love is action. So rather than, saying if you need anything, why don't you say, I can bring dinner over, I can bring a casserole over, what's a good time? Can I run an errand for you? Is there anything I can pick up for you? When someone does take food over, again, people wrote this, I didn't come up with this, but they said when someone does take food over, don't stay long or eat the food when you're there. People said, just, bring the food, deliver it, and then leave. Again, not from me. These were just things people mentioned. Someone else mentioned, don't say when they ask about a loved one, why do you think they weren't healed? Not the time or place to ask a loved one that question. Another one someone mentioned was, don't say to someone when someone's grieving, stay strong. At that moment, you're not strong. And to be told to stay strong, it's just hurtful. Again, this is coming from someone else. So being mindful of our words. Again, I think love you, praying for you, thinking about you are probably the safest words that anyone can say when someone is grieving, because like I said, there's nothing that can be said that's going to make it better. There's nothing that's going to be said that's going to bring that loved one back. So I think when you just say, I'm praying for you, or if you've lost a loved one, you can say, I know how you feel right now, and I'm praying for you. Another person said they got tired of hearing they're in a better place. Another person said they didn't like when someone said he's walking the streets of gold. Well, he's not walking my streets. He's in the everlasting arms. Yes, I'm eternally grateful, they said, but he's not in my arms. So again, I know people mean well, and they're trying to get the person grieving to look beyond the moment they're in. But those first few days and weeks are so fragile, and you're so vulnerable. And I think when people are trying to reach out, they just need to be really cautious about how they say it and when they say it, the time. Another person said, if you voice that you missed your loved one and someone says for you to stop thinking about yourself and just think about them being in heaven, that's pretty hurtful. I had someone say to me this past week on my video that it was time for me to dry my tears, raise my chin or lift my chin up, and stop idolizing my dad. And I was just stunned by that because, again, he's only been gone a few weeks. He was in my life for 55 years. I think I can cry when I want to cry, and I can think about my dad when I want to think about him, and I can miss him, but I certainly don't idolize him. Jesus is my Lord, but I can miss my dad. We need to be very careful and cautious about saying those kind of things to people. It's hurtful. So like this person said, someone had told them to stop thinking about themselves. not nice to say to someone. I have appreciated during this people that have allowed me to just talk and cry and share my stories about my dad, and not try to fix it, not try to say something to make it better. There's just not anything that can make it better, but I so appreciate the people that have just let me cry and let me share my stories. And my husband sitting over here has been so good to me. It'll just hit me. We can be driving down the road and I just see something or hear something or pull up Instagram and there's my dad, and it just hits me and I start crying, and he doesn't try to fix it. He just lets me cry, and then I get back up and keep moving forward. Be a person who, if someone is grieving and they're in that process, don't try to fix it. Just let them cry. Just let them share their stories. And with that, someone said they loved when people allowed them to talk about their loved one and remember the stories. They said that was invaluable to them. When someone would say, what was special to you about your loved one? And they allowed you to talk about your loved one. So again, just thinking about how we can be better when someone's grieving, and say the right thing and do the right thing. Instead of asking, how are you doing? Asking, can I do anything for you? I have loved over the past 7 weeks my friends that have just sent me little texts. I got one just right before I started this, and it said, just still praying for you and thinking of you. And I think that is so special and means so much. I have one friend that just sends hearts, or one friend that just sends prayer emojis. And it just means so much to me. They don't have to write a long thing, but they're just letting me know they're thinking of me. And I think that's a really great way to just let that person that's grieving know, I'm still thinking of you, I'm still praying for you. So I leave you with this. This is something my mom shared that she saw on Instagram the other day, and she read it to me, and I want to read it to you. It meant a lot to her. It says, when someone is broken, don't try to fix them. When someone is hurting, don't attempt to take away their pain. Instead, love them by walking beside them in the hurt. Because sometimes what people need is simply to know that they're not alone. You're not alone. So if you're watching this right now and you are in the same position I'm in, then just take courage and know that you're loved, that God's there. He doesn't leave you nor forsake you, that He cares, and He's wrapping His arms around you right now during this difficult time. And that if you're someone who hasn't lost a loved one, but we're all gonna encounter this in our lives, then be sensitive and know when to say the right thing and when not to say something. And again, this just comes from a place of love that I just wanted to share. It's a new experience that I've walked through, and these were just tips for helping during the grieving process. I hope it's helped and you've learned something through it. All right, have a great one.